First of all, there is nothing sneaky or clickbaity about that title. I didn't increase my net worth from 1 million to 1.1 million. That would be a lot easier and a less exciting video, I think. I went from 54,000 to 154,000, which is essentially tripling my net worth. That might have been a sexier title, but that's okay. And by the way, that 6-figure increase came during a year when I also got married. From the ring purchase to the wedding to the honeymoon, well, let's just say it was an expensive year to be sure. And in case you're wondering about this, I didn't even increase my 9-to-5 salary outside of a small cost of living adjustment that I recently received. So my secret here isn't a big promotion or new job with a bigger salary. Today, I'll cover the 7 factors that most contributed to this 6-figure increase in 1 year while living in Seattle to hopefully get your wheels turning and help you do the same. My goal is to show you what's possible and the steps to get there. I'll share my tips and tools throughout and a bonus in the end. Achieving financial independence is something that I think anyone can do, and these 7 steps I took will get you there faster than you thought was possible if you're consistent each month and each year. If we're just meeting, my name is Frankie. I put out financial independence videos twice a week, so definitely consider subscribing if you dig the content and my approach to talking money. It would mean a lot to me. And like this video if I earn it by the end. Finally, I do want to thank Personal Capital for sponsoring this video, but more on Personal Capital later on. Okay, factor number 1, I maxed out my 401k, my Roth IRA, and my HSA. Back in the beginning of 2018, I was only contributing maybe a few $100s a paycheck to my 401k. Increasing that to 5k, then 10k, then the max at 19,000 as of 2019 was challenging for sure. But when I learned about and fully internalized the concept of compound interest, I knew it had to be done. Otherwise, I was leaving a lot of free money on the table each year. Then I learned about the Roth IRA, and 2021 is the 3rd year I've maxed that out at $6,000 this year. And the beautiful thing about a Roth IRA is that you're contributing funds that have already been taxed, so you earn tax-free investment growth. With a 401k, you're not taxed up front, but your investment earnings will eventually be taxed when you tap it in retirement. And you know the Roth IRA, by the way, is such a great account when the government caps it at just $6,000 and sets an income limit. But finally, I love the Roth because it can act as a pseudo emergency fund, because any money you put in can be taken out without taxes or penalties at any time, but you cannot tap the investment growth early. But I had no idea how exciting a health savings account was when I got resolved to get good with money in 2018. The max this year in 2021 is $3,600 for individuals, and the health savings account is essentially a triple tax benefit account. The funds go in without being taxed, they grow tax-free, and they can be accessed tax-free if used on eligible medical expenses. When I said they grow tax-free, that's because you can actually invest your HSA funds, which a lot of people don't even know about. Factor number 2, I reinvested dividends. Let's stick with investing for this one. A drip plan that happens automatically and for free was huge for me. You need a drip if you aren't set up with one. That's a dividend reinvestment plan. With a drip, any and all dividends that you receive from your investments are automatically reinvested back into your investments. But here's what's really cool about it. With a Roth IRA, you can only contribute and invest that $6,000 a year, as I mentioned. However, when your Roth receives dividends, which is essentially cash, you can reinvest that money without it impacting the max. I maxed out my Roth a month back, and I'm still able to get an extra $100 or $200 a quarter invested beyond that. And I do it all, by the way, via M1 Finance at no cost. I do highly recommend M1 Finance, and I'll link to it below. It has no fee trading, offers the Roth and traditional IRA, and of course the biggie, a drip plan. I love waking up in the morning and seeing emails like this one, reminding me that my money is always working for me without effort once I set it up once. Factor number 3 is passive income. And I'm gonna keep this brief because I do have a lot of videos about this, but I have successfully diversified my income outside of my 9-to-5 the last few years. In fact, I now have 8 streams of relatively steady passive income. I'll put the full list on screen here. My top sources are YouTube and Medium, but partners and sponsorships are starting to scale. And I'm really excited about that because working with companies like Personal Capital is great for me, but also great great because I get to recommend products that I use, know, love, and trust. How can you create passive income? Well, you can create an online course or ebook. You could rent out a room in your house or even just storage space via neighbor.com. You could license your photos. The opportunities are endless. In fact, I just put together an article here on screen that has 101 side hustle and passive income ideas that you should check out next, link below. So get out there and make some money while you sleep because passive income never sleeps. Factor number 4 is tracking and goal setting. And I don't care how many times you've heard this, it probably hasn't sunk in. You need to track and set goals. In order to know where you want to go, you need to know exactly where you stand. Not tracking and not setting goals is like driving a car without looking and hope that you don't crash. And it doesn't have to mean budgeting and updating a template frequently. I actually don't budget. I set a once-a-year annual plan at the beginning of the year. You can see it on screen. If you want a blank copy of this, I will link to this in the description below. Now, in terms of goals, these are really personal, so it's hard to give you concrete advice, but what I like to do is create this week, this month, and this year goals. This week and this month are actually more action-focused. This year are numbers-focused goals like achieving a specific net worth, for example. And don't be scared to set reach goals. My reach goal actually this year is achieving a net worth of $200,000 by the end of the year. And speaking of net worth and tracking, if you also want to find out your net worth so that you can track and set goals around it, I highly recommend today's video sponsor, Personal Capital. It's my favorite free financial tool to use for years, mainly to track my net worth. I find that it connects to all my accounts, including savings accounts, credit cards, loans, investments, and more seamlessly and updates fast. They also offer retirement tools, an excellent blog, a fee analyzer, and lots more. If you have multiple retirement and even personal investment accounts, Personal Capital is perfect for tracking performance across them all for free using what they call a U index. If you want a full picture of your financial health, I suggest you connect any and all accounts to Personal Capital. You'll have an excellent full view of your overall assets and liabilities. I do have a special link that you can use to sign up. I'll pin it to the top of the comments below. It costs you nothing, but really does help me out so I can keep making more of these videos. So check out Personal Capital and let them know that I sent you with that link below. Factor number 5 is I had no 0 days. Another way to say this is that I took no days off. I focus on what I can control daily, and I spent 0 time on things that I can't control, like inflation or investment returns. I'd make a credit card payment, I updated my passive income tracker, I set aside money for taxes, I settled up with my wife for the last couple of weeks of spending, I'd commit to a no spend day or week, we'd have our money parties, which is a glorified money meeting, I wrote an article or created a YouTube video, I made my meal or went to the grocery store when I was tempted to eat out. It's these small decisions that you're intentional about that really do matter and add up. Even on our honeymoon, we actually had a few rules for spending that we followed, like no more than eating out for 1 meal a day, and we can only buy 1 souvenir each, or spend only the cash we're bringing to an event. But possibly more important than all of that was constantly learning last year. Education is critical. I would listen to a finance podcast near daily. And by the way, I recommended my 50 favorite in this recent video. I read articles and I always have stacks of books, yes, even near me, from the library on hand for maybe a literal rainy day. No 0 days. That is how you'll succeed. Factor number 6, I bank all bonuses and raises. I always recommend that you bank at least 90% of any and all raises or unexpected money that you come into. That's exactly what I did last December. I think I received a holiday bonus of around $4,000 last year. I made sure that I banked 90% of it. I sent it straight to Ally, which is my external, online-only, high-interest bank account. And when I say high interest, well, that's not really a thing anymore these days, but having my savings outside of my main account is excellent because it keeps it out of sight and out of mind. I'm never tempted to touch it because I rarely log in and see it. But the point is, bank unexpected money, all of it if you can. Don't let lifestyle creep in. You don't need that newest, latest, and greatest gadget. Invest the money instead, and you'll be able to afford 10 of the latest and greatest 20 years from now. Factor number 7, I saved half. This one is the kicker, and it's not easy, but it might be more possible than you think. Save half is actually my channel mantra, because if you save and invest 50% of your income, you can retire in as little as 17 years. That is exciting, motivating stuff to hear, I hope. This chart from Mr. Money Mustache, specifically when I locked in on that 50% in the middle part, that's when I realized early retirement is extremely possible. I have my annual goals, but I also have a long-term goal as well, which is to retire from traditional work by age 45. Years ago, I focused on reducing my expenses and automating my savings and investments. I've actually gotten my expenses low enough to save and invest half of my income, and now I only have to make sure I don't let them creep back up. And by the way, in terms of the math to get there, if you were to max out your 401k, Roth IRA, and HSA as an individual, you're already at $29,000 alone. And speaking of saving half, I'm actually working on my third book, which is tentatively titled Save Half, Retire Fast. And if you want to be the first to be in the know when that comes out, or you're interested in being on my book review team, or even being a proofreader, head to the link on screen now, which will also be in the description, and get in touch. I'd love to have you and get you involved. So I did mention there's one final bonus factor that contributed to my $100,000 one-year increase, and it's luck. Now, obviously the markets have been good to me and all of us. At the time of recording this, the S&P 500 is up, I think, 28% in the last 365 days. Now, that is, of course, pretty lucky, but it goes beyond investment returns. I feel lucky to have married a partner that aligns with being financially responsible and setting goals. I'm lucky to have this channel and people like you watching. I'm lucky to have so much support and kindness in my life, so thank you as always for that. But I don't think any of this is blind luck. Luck happens where hard work and preparation meets opportunity. You create your own luck. And these 7 steps I took created luck, and it can do so for you as well. And if I can be real for a moment, this whole video felt like a humble brag when I first thought of the idea, so I almost decided against hitting record about 25 minutes ago, but I realized I just need to share this to hopefully inspire at least one person out there. I am not a financial wizard. I was really bad with money just 4 years ago. I'm nothing special. I just figured it out. I stuck to the basics. I made a plan and automated my way to it, and I never felt like, by the way, I was living without. I honestly feel like if I can do it, I think anybody can, especially you, because you're seeking out content like this. Buy assets, not stuff. Invest consistently and automatically. Create a plan and set goals. Don't take days off. Learn. Bank your bonuses. And oh, by the way, good news for any of you that are just getting started. The first 100,000 is the toughest. It only gets easier from there. Thank you for watching. As always, drop me a note or question below, and check out Personal Capital. I really cannot recommend that free service enough. I wouldn't know I hit this awesome milestone without them. My name is Frankie. Like if I earned it, subscribe if you want more of it, and I hope to see you, friend, in a few days on the next one. Thanks. 100K, you guys. Literally. Almost exactly. That's crazy.